Welcome to English Avenue YouTube, the channel to learn English the easy way. Let's start. In a serene and picturesque village, nestled among the rolling hills of England, lived a woman with an exceptionally kind heart named Alina. Her reputation for generosity and warmth extended throughout the entire community, making her a beloved figure among the villagers. She possessed an innate ability to uplift those around her, whether through small acts of kindness or a few comforting words. No matter the circumstance, she was always ready to offer help, expecting nothing in return. However, beyond her well-known benevolence, there was one thing that defined her above all else: the unwavering love she held for her husband, William. William was a man deeply devoted to his calling as an English teacher. For him, teaching was not merely a job, but a true passion that fueled his every day. He dedicated countless hours to his students, ensuring that everyone, from eager children to determined adults, had the opportunity to grasp the intricacies of the language. He firmly believed that language was more than just a means of communication. It was a bridge that connected people, broke barriers, and opened doors to new opportunities. This belief was what drove him to give his absolute best in every lesson, making sure that learning English was not just an obligation for his students, but an enjoyable and enriching experience that inspired them to continue growing. Despite the fact that most of his students showed genuine enthusiasm for his lessons, there was one particular pupil who stood out to William. She was always seated at the very back of the classroom, her posture reserved, her eyes filled with a quiet determination as she carefully observed him speaking, trying to decipher every word. Her name was Anna, a young woman who had only recently arrived from a distant country. She had left behind everything familiar, her home, her family, her culture, to follow her husband in search of a better life in England. However, adjusting to this new reality proved to be far more challenging than she had imagined. The language barrier quickly became an overwhelming obstacle for Anna. She found herself struggling in ways she had never before experienced. Without the ability to communicate fluently, she felt isolated, as though trapped in an invisible cage that separated her from the people around her. Simple interactions, such as buying groceries or greeting neighbors, turned into daunting tasks. Every time she attempted to speak, her limited vocabulary and thick accent made her self-conscious, and the frustration of not being understood only deepened her loneliness. The feeling of being a stranger in a foreign land weighed heavily on her heart. Still, despite the difficulties, she was determined to learn English. William soon took notice of Anna's unwavering commitment. Even though she rarely spoke in class, she never missed a single lesson and diligently jotted down notes, absorbing as much as she could. He was deeply moved by her perseverance and decided to extend a helping hand. One afternoon, after class had ended and the other students had left, he approached her with a kind smile and offered to tutor her privately. Anna's eyes lit up with hope, and without hesitation, she accepted his offer, eager for the chance to improve. From that moment on, William dedicated his evenings to teaching her. With patience and enthusiasm, he guided her through the complexities of the English language, ensuring that she not only learned grammar and pronunciation, but also common phrases that would make her everyday interactions easier. Each lesson became a stepping stone, and over time, Anna's confidence began to blossom. Little by little, she started to engage in simple conversations with the villagers. The people who had once been distant strangers now greeted her warmly, impressed by her progress and touched by her determination to integrate into their community. As their lessons progressed, the dynamic between William and Anna gradually shifted, evolving beyond that of teacher and student. Their interactions became more than just grammar exercises and pronunciation drills. They uncovered a shared passion for literature, which sparked endless discussions about novels, poetry, and the profound impact of language. Their study sessions often stretched long into the evening, not because Anna struggled with the material, but because they both enjoyed the conversations that arose naturally between them. What had begun as a simple effort to learn a new language soon turned into something more meaningful. Anna was not only gaining fluency in English, but she was also discovering in William a true and supportive friend. William, on the other hand, found himself increasingly captivated by Anna. Her intelligence, perseverance, and natural curiosity about the world fascinated him. He admired the way she absorbed new concepts with such eagerness, pushing herself to improve despite the challenges she faced. With each passing day, he grew more impressed by her progress. But more than that, he found himself drawn to her kindness and quiet strength in a way he hadn't expected. Without realizing it, William began to see Anna differently. What had once been a formal relationship between a teacher and his most dedicated student transformed into a deep emotional connection. The shy young woman who used to sit silently in the back of his classroom was no longer just a pupil. She had become someone whose presence he cherished. And before he could fully acknowledge it, William understood the truth. He had fallen in love with her. When William finally came to terms with the depth of his feelings, he knew he couldn't keep them buried. Ignoring them was not an option. He wanted to share his life with Anna, to walk beside her through every challenge and triumph, to be the one she could always count on. The thought of a future without her by his side was unimaginable. One radiant spring afternoon, as the gentle breeze rustled through the leaves of an ancient oak tree in the village square, he made his decision. Gathering all the courage within him, he took her hands in his and looked into her eyes, his heart pounding with anticipation. With a voice filled with sincerity and love, he asked her to spend the rest of her life with him. Anna's response came not in words at first, but in the form of tears. Tears of pure happiness that glistened in her eyes before she nodded enthusiastically. Her voice trembled with emotion as she accepted his proposal without hesitation. At that moment, it felt as though the entire world had faded away, leaving just the two of them standing beneath that ancient tree, bound by a love that had grown steadily and naturally between them. The news of their engagement spread quickly throughout the village, filling the air with excitement. Friends, neighbors, and even casual acquaintances came forward, eager to celebrate the union of two souls whose journey had been nothing short of inspiring. When the long-awaited wedding day arrived, the ceremony was simple yet profoundly moving. Surrounded by those who had witnessed their story unfold, they exchanged vows in an atmosphere of joy and warmth. From that day forward, Anna was no longer just William's student, nor merely his beloved. She became his wife, his greatest source of strength, and his most unwavering companion. Together, they embraced a new chapter, one where love and partnership would continue to shape their days, as they had from the very beginning. Together, they continued the work that had first brought them together, teaching English. However, now it was no longer just William who stood at the front of the classroom. Anna, too, had embraced the role of an educator. Having once struggled to learn the language herself, she understood firsthand the obstacles faced by immigrants arriving in the village without the ability to communicate. Rather than allowing them to feel the same isolation she had once endured, she used her own experience as a source of encouragement. Her story became an inspiration to others, proving that with determination, patience, and perseverance, mastering a new language was not only possible but life-changing. As the years passed, their bond only deepened. Their shared passion for education was not the only thing that united them. They also nurtured a mutual love for adventure and discovery. Side by side, they traveled across different countries, immersing themselves in unfamiliar languages and exploring new cultures. Each journey enriched their understanding of the world. Yet no matter how far they ventured, They always found their way back to the village where their love story had begun. For them, that quiet little corner of England was more than just a place. It was home, a reminder of where their journey had started, and a symbol of the life they had built together. As the years went by, William and Anna became much more than just a teacher and his wife. To the villagers, they were living proof that love could blossom in the most unexpected moments and that, with patience, understanding, and a willingness to grow together, even the greatest differences could be overcome. Their presence in the village was more than familiar. It was cherished. As they grew older, their story remained a source of inspiration for younger generations, a reminder that true love was not just about grand gestures, but about steadfast companionship, unwavering support, and shared dreams. They were no longer just another couple in the community. They had become a symbol of hope, a testament to kindness, and a shining example of love's ability to break down any barrier. And so, in a quiet corner of England, William and Anna lived out their own fairy tale, not one of fleeting passion, but of deep, enduring affection. Their love story did not fade with time. Rather, it echoed in the hearts of all who had the privilege of knowing them. For years to come, their journey would continue to remind others that love, perseverance, and generosity are the true foundations of a life well lived and deeply fulfilled.